this computer. Lisa B.
Yeah. Kind of in the flesh.
Yeah, this is as close as we get.
Exactly. Until 2025, hey?
Yeah, exactly. I saw, is it late? Is it late there?
No, it's 7 p.m. So
it's so nice to see you. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't wait to physically be there. Will you still be there in the Åland Islands?
Yeah, definitely.
Good, because I'm looking forward to it. And
yeah, that should be good.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Yay, this is your first time here.
It is. I know. All the other times it's in the middle of the night.
I saw a very funny thing with Trevor Noah, and
he's so good.
And it was, but he wasn't on it. It was a woman who was single, very attractive, and she was interviewing like the sexiest doctor. He's supposed to be like, he's named the sexiest doctor in America. And she's interviewing, and she's just, you know, trying to be not attracted and be professional. And she goes, so I have a question about, you know, social distancing. Is this too close? Is this too close?
That's so good.
And the doctor says, yes, that's definitely too close.
It must be terrible for him. Like, you go through the whole of med school and you do all of that, and then all people focus on is that you're really good looking.
Really good looking.
No, is it kind of like,
forget the fact that you're a really, really good board,
really smart, like, you know, and you've done your work, you've like worked your butt off at med school, and then everyone just focuses on that you're really nice looking, which is really no fault of your own, just genetics.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing this. Oh, look at this one. This one was a funny.
Oh, this is good. Let me see. That's great. I love that.
I don't have any children around anymore, but
no, me either.
I'll send this one to my kids though.
But then I have a friend who, he posts stuff. He does a lot of Lego stuff, not so much anymore, but yeah, he used to, it was called My Awesome Life, like Mal, and he would post all these great things with Lego. It was great.
It's really fabulous. I loved your piece this morning about Finnish social distancing, and every time you post an article, it's about another fun word that no one can pronounce.
No one can pronounce. I know, it's really funny.
Can you put a link to it here? Can you put a link? Is it on MuddyUm right now?
Oh, I can put a link on the chat in the chat room. Did you didn't see it yet? Yeah, I'll get it.
And
I'm
wondering when we do that and you're recording and you share it, will the link be in there?
No, the chat room actually is it's quite dynamic, and it goes away after the thing is stopped. When we stop recording, the chat room
it's only private for live chatting.
Yeah, it's just you have to. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't. Okay. It doesn't. It's called Social Distancing Finnish Style.
Yeah, it's on MuddyUm. Yeah.
And I love, for people who watch these and are curious about MuddyUm, you don't even have to find the publication. You can just take the title. You can go to MuddyUm.com. You can take the title. You can type that in the search bar in MuddyUm, and up will come the article.
Give me the title name again.
Social Distancing Finnish Style. Finnish like Finn, because it's Finland.
Like the country Finnish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. They tend to do it well, which is, except for now. Who knew that it would turn out like this?
Yeah, exactly. But it was very funny. I liked it.
Good. That's excellent.
And you look fabulous in your Western style hats there, Nancy.
I couldn't find my headband, so this is as close as I got. I feel like I have a huge bright forehead because I wear hats all the time. Not actually, I usually wear a baseball hat. This is not normal. This is fancy wear.
So I don't know if you can click on that. Can you actually click on that? It doesn't look like it's
I wanted to make sure I had it. when we talk about it, I want to be able to go on my stuff and share, we had this conversation, we talked about this, meet Lisa B. I want to be able to share you guys' stuff with all my peoples too.
Oh yeah.
And I think we should do that, like Andy read, and we should share it. And then all of us on here at the same time need to share it and Twitter
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. I've been doing that. I've been
Instagram
sharing
and
it
all
to
that.
everybody, regardless of if they're writers on Medium or not, because I believe that it's a good idea to just, have more people join us on Medium. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a writer to go to Medium. You just have to be curious and want to read.
And it's the perfect ad-free place. Where else do you get no ads when you're reading stuff?
It's still
nowhere.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I hope it stays that way.
I think in order for writers to get paid what they need to get paid, it needs to have advertising of some sort. And I think they're past due for that. And I know
Is there a better way of doing it though? Than a pop-up ad or just how do you do it? What's the best way to do it?
There's lots of different strategies, and what YouTube did, I think they started with, you could opt in, and so you can opt in or opt out of advertising, so that everybody's experiences can be kind of customized. But they need to do something in terms of advertising. Every form of writing ever has had advertising support it. To small town newspapers, they had bills to pay. They would run a newspaper, and that there was real paper and real ink and real printing press costs, and the advertisers are the ones that helped pay the bills and paid the salaries of the journalists and the reporters. So writers need to have someone who's willing to say, yes, I want to read your writing. So we need that. And right now, the primary mechanism is readership. So the fact that we have the ability to say, hey, go read on Medium. I don't know what your first experience was with Medium, but my son was in fencing class, and we made all the fencing moms, there's soccer moms and there's baseball moms, and I was a
lacrosse moms.
Yeah.
I was a lacrosse mom.
I was a lacrosse mom for the first son and a fencing mom for the second son.
There you go.
And so the fencing moms would hang out on the bleachers and watch the fencing matches. And one of the women owned a nursery school, preschool and nursery school and elementary school. And she showed me this thing called Medium. Look at this. And she sent me a couple links of things to read.
How long ago was this? This is so cool.
This is in 2016. So that's 4 years ago. So she sent me these links of things to read. We had been talking about some conversation, and she was reading Medium, and the articles she sent me were fabulous. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This level of writing, this level of detail on these topics, this is fantastic. And so I immediately started making reading on Medium part of my life. And it wasn't until about a year later that I wrote my first article on Medium, and they still weren't paying writers. So the article was something that felt very courageous. I was very scared to write it. I was very scared to push the publish button. In fact,
I have a question. Was it your first time to publish something? Like put your words out there?
No, it wasn't. Okay. But it was my first time having it be live like this on the internet. That was kind of a blogging type of a thing, a stream of consciousness kind of thing, like it felt very much like bearing your soul, right? Yeah, I'm putting my words out there, and oh my God, don't judge me. And I was so proud I did it. I just felt so brave and courageous that I hit publish. In fact, I think the last line on the article, it's hard to find things. It's hard to go back into your own history unless you know what the title is of your articles. because they don't make the sorting capability for
Yeah.
your own pieces very easy. But I think the last line in the article is something like, you know, kind of patting myself on the back for being so brave and published. Like the publish button didn't look so scary anymore.
Well, I curse that publish button sometimes. You push it too soon and then you go back and read it and, oh, there's a typo, you know?
But you know, you can
It just
edit
makes it
even
so
after you
easy.
publish.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't like doing that, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like redoing because I push publish.
I actually made the mistake of drinking way too much, writing an article and publishing it, and then the guy, thankfully, there was the editor, and he kept saying, I mean, it was funny, you know, it was like a bit sort of tongue in cheek, and he kept giving these private notes. I've changed this and I've changed that, and I ended up just writing like, dude, I was drunk. I'm amazed you didn't find more. And he lost it. He was laughing. He's like, oh my god, I'm like crying, laughing. And it was that thing of, I mean, it was recently too, because I feel like I've actually haven't stopped drinking since all of this went down.
Right.
I've got the migraine, you know. It's actually just alcohol induced. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah.
Writing.
Yeah.
I
don't worry about the typos.
It's like, I mean, I've stopped drinking alcohol because of the whole virus, because, you know, it depresses your immune system a bit. So
I did read that today and I went,
I'm looking forward
Really?
to having a glass of
Interesting.
wine.
I have to take that note.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so, you know, question, asking for a friend. If someone dies of a respiratory illness during CV, are they going to do an autopsy?
No, oh, that's a good question. I just read something about that. They're not, I've read that in many places they are making a statement. They are not autopsying everybody. They cannot.
Yeah.
It's just, it's overwhelming.
Wait until it gets to like a certain peak or something before.
They're doing like every
Before
5
you bring
bodies,
a body in is what I'm talking about.
every 10 bodies, every 10, you know, every whatever. They have like a, you know, okay, number 1, number 2, okay, this one, and then number, you know, and
Ooh, okay. So
but it would depend if they'd been diagnosed with it, wouldn't it? Like,
oh, I know what the article was. You know that Katie Couric, I don't know if you know.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Her
I
article.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the one.
She talked about, she has something like 32,000 followers.
I was wanting to know sources. It wasn't sourced. So I was kind of like, you know, I don't know. I'm a little bit wary of stuff on Medium, I have to say, that isn't, especially if it's not sourced properly.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, they say that. And I was kind of like, really? Well, where's the like link to that, you know?
Yeah, she said it was an interview of someone who talked to her. And we're supposed to just listen.
Yeah.
It's not very good journalistic style, actually.
No, it's not.
Traditional journalism says that you give sources unless they're protected under.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a teacher and I've taught sociology, and my kids, I would have caned them if they had come to me with something like that, not sourced it. It would have been like, really?
Yeah.
So
because then it's really hearsay.
Yeah, that's right.
And hearsay doesn't even hold up. Hearsay doesn't even hold up in a court of law. So, you know, you say, why should it hold up in journalism?
Yeah. No, I was a little bit skeptical.
But yeah, so, you know, is that a real thing or not? Are they really?
Yeah.
Are they really?
I was just asking for a friend. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a valid question in this time. I mean, I know around the world they're preparing different places for as morgues, like ice rinks, for example. That's kind of scary. I find that a little bit.
And I've seen photographs of refrigerated trucks backed up to hospital doors. But you know, I keep thinking, is it real?
Are they delivering food?
Yeah. Are we?
I mean,
we're living in this age of what do we see and is it real?
Yeah.
And what can you really believe? And unless you see it firsthand, how do you believe it? And you know, it's easy to stage something and say, not that I think it's a bad idea for people to stay home, of course, but then again, in this age where everybody's trying to get attention and get followers and look at me, and you know, oh, let me stage something because, you know, it'll be sensational and it'll go viral, and then I'll have some crazy selfish goal fulfilled,
which has happened before. I mean, that was there's been a few cases of, you know, people saying they have cancer and doing all of these, you know, full on things, and they blog about it and everything. I know there was a case in Australia, and like she had thousands of followers and got heaps of money, and she didn't have cancer.
Yeah, exactly. I have an article that I haven't written yet. It's kind of it's in my head, but I didn't even start the draft yet. So, but one of my most popular stories was about my cancer survival story, and I stopped sharing that story for a while. I stopped talking about it, and there was a reason for that. And there's a condition. It has some psychological name, but there was a case of a woman this is a real case of a woman in New York State who evidently she had been adopting children, and she had a lot of children that she was adopting. And then one of the children died from some illness or something. And everybody knew that this woman had this big heart and she adopted all these children. And the outpouring in the community of love and care and everything, you know, was overwhelming, and she felt so supported. And then some months later, another one of the children died. And the same thing. Oh my goodness, you know, love, support, and then another child died. So as it turns out, sometimes there's this weird psychological thing that can happen to people where they can get so overwhelmed by, you know, just the love and support that and it turned out that she was killing her kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like
just to get that.
Munchausen's by proxy.
Kind of in reverse. It's related.
Yeah.
What's the name of it, Lisa? What's the name of it again?
It's Munchausen's by proxy. So if you have Munchausen's, you make yourself sick, and if it's by proxy, you make somebody else sick. But it's not usually death. It's usually just an illness.
Really,
you know,
close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they feed them stuff that's, you know, like poison them or make them ill, and it's usually children.
But this and this was a real case, and I had read about it. And it was some years after, you know, I survived the cancer, and I had been going around doing public speaking, and I wrote a book about the cancer story. And then I had read this story about this woman, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. I don't want to ever be in that position of taking my story and having it be the thing that I need, you know, to feed my... and whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I stopped telling the story, but I still find that people are still inspired by it. Like I resurrected it because you know, it's a group of people who'd never heard the story before.
Yeah.
But that was a really freaky thing. And then I guess the woman wound up in jail and took all her.
I mean, your story, it's real, and you survived, and people like survival stories. It gives them hope, and you know, it's lovely. It's really nice. So you know, but yeah, that is scary. That's kind of like next level.
Tipping, like 10x level.
Yeah, totally.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's scary.
So Lisa, are you going to read a story for us today?
I haven't organized myself at all.
Okay. Well, you don't have to.
The vision is not so great for me right now.
What time is it there?
It's the 7:30. Yeah, it's just my eyes go a bit funny. But I mean, I can. I haven't prepared.
Oh no! If you have a migraine, I don't want you to have to stress.
Yeah.
No.
I've been.
Does it have hard to pronounce words in it? I'll read it if I can pronounce the words.
It's got Finnish words.
Yeah, and I don't speak Finnish. I speak Swedish. So where I live is the Swedish-speaking part of Finland. So kalsarikennet is the word in the story that means drinking alone at home in your underwear. And I'm probably not even pronouncing it very well because I don't speak Finnish, but it's pretty cool that they actually have a word for it. That's how cool they are with being alone, that they have a word for drinking at home alone in your underpants. And they have emojis. The tourism board of Finland have made a whole collection of Finnish emojis, and they have a male and a female version of this sitting at home alone in your underwear drinking. It's so funny.
This is hilarious. This is
goes
hilarious.
with the word.
Yeah, it goes with the word. Yeah.
So what language is this from again?
This is Finnish.
Finnish.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't speak Finnish. I live in Finland, but I speak Swedish. About 6% of the population speaks Swedish, and where I live is all Swedish speaking. So, yeah.
How many languages do you speak?
3. Speak English, Swedish, and German.
Oh, neat.
That's awesome. I'm going to learn a little Swedish before I come visit you.
That's good.
Well, I'm just looking over some of the articles that just recently got published. And, you know, Lisa, you wrote one in response to Bebe Nicholson's Social Distancing American Style.
Yeah.
That one might be a good one to read.
Yeah, that's funny. She's good.
She's always very funny.
Yeah.
Do you all, is the sound good today? Because sometimes my sound breaks up.
Yeah, no, that's good for me.
The sound is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Let me read this one because I thought it was very funny. Okay. Social Distancing American Style. The 10 people you meet on a sidewalk by Bebe Nicholson. Our governor finally declared a lockdown. At first, he tried to make social distancing optional, but teenagers roaming the streets and shoppers jamming Walmart forced him to reconsider and make it mandatory. Not being sure what a lockdown involves, I read the fine print and find out I can still go to the grocery store, the pharmacy, the carryout line at my favorite restaurant, and on exercise walks as long as I stay 6 feet away from people. So far, so good, since I've been doing those things anyway. But when I venture out on my lockdown walk, I discover there are 10 types of people on the sidewalks of America. Observing adequate self-isolation means you need to be prepared for these people because, as a famous person once said, preparation is the key to effective social distancing. The oblivious woman. The person you are likely to encounter most frequently and the one who will probably annoy you the most is the oblivious woman. She posts numerous selfies on Instagram and she looks cute, even during a quarantine when everybody else has forgotten what the inside of a hair salon looks like. She has long blonde hair, almost touching her perfect butt, which is barely contained in tight spandex, and she wears designer sunglasses perched on her pert nose. She is engrossed in a phone conversation while at the same time trying unsuccessfully to control a 100-pound golden retriever on a 50-foot leash. You don't know whether to veer to the left or the right because she has stopped smack dab in the middle of the sidewalk. She doesn't see you coming, doesn't see that her dog has roamed to the end of his tether, and doesn't notice the couple approaching from the opposite direction. If she does move, it is to saunter down the sidewalk center, still talking and still oblivious. The old guy. Next, after you have negotiated a path around the oblivious woman, you encounter the old guy. He might even be as old as you, but he is in much worse shape. His stomach, like the last orange in the sack, blooms over his pants. He wheezes as he strides determinedly toward you. He has decided the whole pandemic is a hoax to bring Trump down, and he considers himself too gregarious and smart for all this social distancing nonsense. Fortunately, he is slow, and you are not, so he is easy to avoid. You merely need to step up your pace. If you're worried about seeming antisocial, you can always wave and smile as you make your getaway. He will already be on the lookout for another hapless walker. The blockade. The next group, the blockade, is not so easy to avoid. They are teenagers, and they do not see people your age. You are invisible to them. They are walking shoulder to shoulder, taking up the width of the sidewalk, chatting, talking on cell phones, and keeping their radar tuned for anyone except you. In other words, they are doing visual sweeps for people like themselves, young, hot, and interesting. At the point where your paths intersect, there are cars whizzing by on one side and a row of prickly holly bushes on the other. Your options are limited because you risk getting run over or pierced by holly thorns. Because this group will not move, you make a last-minute decision, choosing cars over prickles. You rush through a gap in the traffic before hopping back onto the sidewalk where they are 6 feet away. The terrified woman. That's when you spot the terrified woman. She is wearing a mask, and above the mask, her eyes reveal sheer terror. Shoulders hunched, face down, she scurries past, expecting at any moment to be assailed by a cloud of coronavirus particles. She views you and everyone else as a carrier. The good news is you don't have to worry about following social distancing guidelines with this person. The man who owns the sidewalk. The next guy is the opposite of terrified woman. He is man who owns the sidewalk. Similar to oblivious woman, only more aware of his surroundings, he sees you approaching, but he doesn't care. He and his dog have full rights to the entire sidewalk. They own it, and they are not going to move, not 1 inch. You are forced to plaster yourself against the holly hedge while his dog makes a beeline for you. You remember reading somewhere that you are not supposed to pet people's dogs during the quarantine, but the dog doesn't know this. The person who sneezes. The only good thing about man who owns the sidewalk is that he moves rapidly, yanking his dog along. Immediately after he has passed, you see a friendly couple approaching, and now you are about to encounter the person who sneezes. These people look hurt when you step out into the street to avoid them. You don't have to worry about us, the man calls. We're healthy. The woman sneezes. It's just hay fever, she says as you head to the other side of the street. She sneezes 3 more times. You sneak a closer look, and this woman looks sick, real sick. Closer to Ebola than hay fever, you think, and you thank your lucky stars you are on the other side of the street. The family. Next comes the family. They are a father, mother, and 3 children out of the house for the first time in days. 2 of the kids flying ahead on bicycles, one of them wobbling precariously as they try not to run you over. The toddler, who is not on a bike, is crying because he doesn't want to be out for a walk, missing Paw Patrol. The family is careful about social distancing. They don't present any problems, but you feel sorry for them. The parents have a look of quiet desperation. You wonder how long they will last with school out, parks closed, parents unemployed, and 3 kids to amuse. You shake it off and heave a sigh of relief that it isn't you. The Asian man. The Asian man who jumps aside to avoid the kid on the wobbly bike spots you and smiles widely, but he looks hurt as you move to the far side of the sidewalk. You hope he noticed you social distancing from everybody else, not just him. You don't want him to think you blame the virus on him because he's Asian. You want to say, I'm not moving away because you're Chinese. I social distance from everybody. But saying that would make you seem even more racist. The jubilant jogger. You are almost home when the jubilant jogger hurtles toward you. He is similar to man who owns the sidewalk, except that he isn't intentional about trying to hog your space. He is just happier than he's ever been, and he can't help himself. He's in his element with this quarantine. No need to go to work or make excuses about not going to work. No kids at home, unlike that poor family he just had. If he's lucky, he'll get an unemployment check soon. In the meantime, he's free to run all day. No reason to work towards goals when the whole world might be coming to an end. And when the lockdown is over, he'll be more buff and fit than he's ever been. He swings wide, flashing past when he sees you. Life is good. And the normal one. And finally, there's you, the normal one. You just want to get some exercise. Keep your distance and stay well. If you can dodge these others, you'll be okay. Otherwise, you might have to clear a path by swinging a golf club or faking a cough. And then you wouldn't be the normal one anymore. You'll be the 11th person the rest of us normal ones meet on the sidewalk.
That was good.
Yeah. That is good.
She's always very entertaining.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was a good one to respond to, Lisa.
It was. I read it and I was like, oh my God, I've got to do the Finnish thing.
So next time you're on, maybe you'll feel better and you can read your response to that.
I'll see how I go.
Yeah.
I'll just exit full screen and see if I can manage to have it on the same window on my laptop.
Do you have something, Nancy?
I could probably find something, but no, I don't off the top of my head. I do have a request
Okay.
to pin this announcement about the schedule with the link to
Yes.
the top Muddy Facebook page.
Oh, but just pin it there.
Pin it there.
I'll
or
pin
make
it there.
Make a new one with a new schedule saying we're pinning this here so that everyone can find it. Because I keep.
Will do.
I have to say I did it.
You know, how do I put it? Save the post. But of course, I don't know where that went.
I will pin it. Yep, I'll do it. No problem. As soon as we get done here, I will pin it to the top.
Okay, good.
Good suggestion. Thank you. So
I reckon I can do this. If you want me to, I can read.
Oh yeah, you feel up to it.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, good.
Okay, so because Bebe Nicholson was so awesome, I did Social Distancing Finnish Style. After reading Bebe's fabulous take on social distancing in the US, I felt compelled to share Finland's SD style. Before this whole V word that shall not be named happened, the term social distancing in the dictionary had this definition. Social distancing, please see Finnish culture. I'm not even kidding. This is a place where not only it has a word for sitting at home drinking alone in your underwear, which is kalsari keanit, they have their own emojis. You'll have to go to the article to see them.
Oh, I'll put it up on my window. You keep reading, I'll put it up.
The Finns are known for their joy of being alone, their lack of small talk, their love of being in the outdoors in the middle of nowhere. Silence is golden. They are comfortable with silence. Personal space is to be respected. You'd think they would be totally all over this stay-at-home social distancing thing. So why are they so keen to get all up close and personal now? Since the start of the state of emergency in Finland on March the 16th, I have noticed a shift in behaviour. You'd think the Finns would take this in their stride. No big change of lifestyle, but no. I don't know what happened then, but I've just lost my window. It just...
It shared your screen with us.
Oh, okay.
There's your emojis.
Except I'm not seeing it. Yeah. Okay.
Those are official emojis in Finland, yeah?
They are, yeah. I was taking out my daily walk. I was out taking my daily walk the other day, mindful of staying a respectful distance, but not that worried because, well, Finland. The esplanade is wide and lovely and it's edged with big trees and a lovely wide red gravel path through the middle. So imagine my horror when 3 people walking a dog started walking towards me. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes. There was ample space. They were on one side of the path and I was on the other, but they kept walking towards me, which resulted in me nearly leaping out of the way to keep the correct government-sanctioned 1.5 metre distance required. Oh, the horror. This has never happened before. Then I went to the supermarket. It was the approved time. Over 70s get the first hour to themselves. And I walked in, put my disposable gloves on and grabbed a basket. To my horror, someone brushed past me. I nearly leaped out of my skin, but managed some deep breathing to calm myself before entering the supermarket. This was the first time anyone has gotten close to touching me in the supermarket, in the whole 2.5 years of living here. I collected a few things in my basket and was walking near the dairy fridge to grab some butter when someone else bumped into me. At this point, I was seriously looking for the candid camera. I mean, here is a culture that loves personal space, where no one makes eye contact with you unnecessarily, where you can normally swing a cat around you in the supermarket and not hit anyone, and 2 people had actually accidentally touched me. This has never happened before. What has happened in the psyche of the Finns to lead to this unruly and quite frankly unfinished behaviour? Have they finally seen there are some benefits to social interaction now that it is expected everyone stays an appropriate distance away? Are they just exerting their inner rebel at a time when they should be just staying the F at home? And don't even get me started on a certain age group I've never seen my 70-plus-year-old neighbour as much as in the past few weeks, and our 80-plus-year-old relatives have all of a sudden discovered all sorts of random errands around the place. Visiting people and getting out and about socially is all of a sudden attractive. I am gobsmacked. I am discombobulated. I am confused. I'm putting it down to another bizarre event of 2020, the year of some really effed up shit. I'm really hoping that they eventually all stay at home, stay their distance, and stay alive. And that was my response.
Okay, wait, say the word again.
I have to read. It's kalsarikenit.
Okay.
And now I can't find
Cool
where
word. And it really means sitting home drinking alone in your underwear.
Yeah, it's actual word. That is
Kalsarikenit.
Yeah.
The two
umlaut. Yeah, the umlaut, which is the German way of saying it. So it's an air sound, like kalsarikenit.
Kalsarikenit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Kalsarikenit.
Can we get that made in a t-shirt?
Yeah, I think you can probably.
A t-shirt?
There's a Facebook group called Very Finnish Problems, and he sells stuff, and he probably has it. But definitely one of those emojis would be absolutely fantastic to have on.
And that word kalsarikenit means to sit around in your underwear and
drinking alone in your underwear at home.
Drinking.
Yep.
Specifically drinking.
Specifically drinking.
Alcohol.
Yep.
It's the best people I've ever known. I mean, who made your language? I mean, how cool is this?
Yeah, I know. It's
brilliant.
It's totally awesome. And the fact that the tourism, like there's a link there to the actual website where you can see all the emojis, because they've got sauna emojis and all of that stuff. So
one of my favorite Airbnb guests ever was from Finland. She was born in Finland, and we had a huge drinking party the night that we had a big dinner and a drinking party. One of the nights that she was here, she was bringing her daughter to college.
Yeah,
and she and I became best friends like right away. But we drank heavily, and we were very silly. And she told me amazing stories about the elf tradition. And of course, my online store, I call myself, I'm the CEO, I'm the chief elf officer. And so she told me all about the elf tradition. In fact, she wrote a really fun thing in my guest book. Oh, I'll go read it to you. Oh, so chat amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay, we will.
Lisa, you said there was a link in your article to the...
Yeah, so it's underneath the two emojis. I've just put the tourism.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So you can click that and it will take you to. But I just think it's so cool that, like, you know, as a country, they've got together and gone, you know what, we're just going to make some emojis. And it's like, that's so cool. Yeah.
This is my guest book from all my
amazing.
All my guests, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of entries in here and artwork. And this book, I love this book so much. So this book is like, it's one of those things, if I'm having a bad day, you know, we all have those bad days.
Yeah.
If I'm having
hourly, isn't it? It's like you have a good hour and then a bad hour and then
yeah, it's not just bad day anymore. It's bad 5 minutes.
Susan?
What?
How long have you had your home open like this?
This book is started in 2009. This one, it's almost finished. But I mean, people come and sometimes they camp here because they can, and then they draw fun artwork, and like it's filled with this fun artwork and fun stories. But if I have a bad day, I just go to this book, and I literally can just open it up to any page and be inspired and remember like that guest when that guest was here, and there's like a million stories in this book.
Link to your Airbnb here. Can we see your house?
I can. Oh, here it is. So she came. So this is I'm gonna actually Christina. Her name is Christina Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this big party, and then before she left it, she thought about it, and then she went to sleep, and then the next morning she wrote in the book. This was August 29th, 2017. Notice. Susan on Elfworks Lane has been given the highest honor an elf can receive in Tantuhood. So a Tantu is an elf. Tantuhood. She has been appointed as a Tantu Commander of the Royal Tantu Order by His Royal Highness, the Supreme Leader of Korvatuntun and all Tontus around the globe, Yolupuki. Yolupuki is Finnish for Santa.
Yeah.
For what?
Santa.
Father Christmas, Santa.
Yolupuki. Yolupuki is Santa. Finnish. Yolupuki, right?
Yolupuki.
This honor has been rewarded to Susan for her impressive hospitality, culinary magic, and warm heart that will stay imprinted in every house guest's memory long after the taste of her amazing banana bread evaporates from your tongue.
Oh, that's so cute.
In this, the Supreme Leader Yulupuki also recognizes the hard work and opportunities Susan provides for those in need. This message was delivered to Christina Olsen on August 29, 2017, directly from Korvatuntun, Rovaniemi, Finland. P.S. A special thanks and hug to sous chef Armando. My friend Armando, who I also wrote about on Medium.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was here. So Armando and Christina and I had a heck of a party that night.
That's so cute. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I love this, but it's in every language too. Like this one is Farsi. I think that's Farsi.
Cool. Looks like art.
Yeah, it's art. There's Korean, there's Spanish, there's Russian. There's every language in here. It's just really, it's a fabulous book.
Awesome. What a lovely keepsake.
It's a good keepsake.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I tell my guests about this book is what I love about it is I could write a memoir, I could write a biography, I could do any of those kinds of things, you know. But when I die, like I will keep these guest books for as long as I have guests. And when I'm gone, my son will get this book.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could write a memoir that would be as great a gift as this is for him, because this will be like his mother through the eyes of the world.
Yeah.
And I just, right? So it's my most sacred thing in the whole house.
Totally. So
Yeah.
that's what you're grabbing in any emergency. You'll be grabbing that.
Oh yes, definitely. That's like, gotta get the guest book. It's gotta go with me. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So, well, thank you for sharing that. That was fun. That was very, very fun. And Nancy has been talking about, I don't know if you knew, Lisa, but Nancy has a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about when you got on this morning, we were talking about how to take what we're doing even here to the next level. You know, that's what everyone's doing right now. And with, you know, all of these creative voices, I think there's a lot of different things we could do that would entertain. Yeah, and definitely. Also put, you know, more eyeballs on the stuff we create, because we're awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's another writer, Aryan Tupan, who's done the tree triplicata, he calls it. Have you seen those posts? Have you tried one of his poems? It's like a new form of poetry. I'll have to tag you in it when I.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Because he's based in Belgium, and he writes on Medium. And when I don't know how I discovered him, but I did. And he put a call out to people to try this form of poetry, and it's based on syllable count, and it goes 3, 6, 9, 6, 3. and you know, he describes sort of it's you know, not unlike a haiku, but it's just, you know, it's factors of 3, so he kind of liked that. And he put a call out, and a whole lot of people have done it, and he's got a podcast and a publication now called The Triple Effect, because a whole lot of people have tried it now. And yeah, I was on his podcast the other day. I did a recording, and then he just like he put it in. He said, "This is what I want you to talk about," and he was talking about challenges and how challenges, you know, how they can be a springboard for creativity, and what my take on it was. So yeah, so that was really cool. So yeah, they're doing all sorts of awesome
so
things.
you have to be on my podcast then too.
Yeah.
I'm linking a couple of stories right now, and then you're on Substack too.
Mm.
Are you on Substack too, Susan? Everyone's.
I am on Substack. Yes, I am.
All right. How are you guys liking it?
I'm just getting started with it. So I like the simplicity of it, but honestly, I haven't really spent as much time as I could yet on it.
I'm kind of exploring it slowly, and I don't know how to kind of find other people on Substack. Like, I get their email, and I've kind of like done that, and then they had a thread on the actual Substack blog with people were leaving their Substack newsletters, but it's not, I don't know, I haven't found anywhere that is like Medium where you have a front page and you can follow other people on Substack. So I don't know if that's their intention. Apparently there are some amazing publications on it that people have themselves, like, but I've only read that in the email that I got sent. So I don't know. I think that's, they're kind of, everything seems to be a bit in beta version from what I've seen of things. Like, it'll have a little beta underneath and stuff. So
it feels new, doesn't it?
It
feels
does feel
newish.
new. Yeah, but I do like that you can, you know, that you write a post and that gets sent out to the people who follow you. Whether I ever turn on the subscription option, I don't know.
I just subscribe, so it's on.
Yeah, no, but I mean like the paid subscription. Sorry, the paid subscription. Yeah. So I don't know. That's an option you have, which I guess is good. You can maybe have content for people who want to pay for that. But I mean, I don't have anywhere near. Some people have got like hundreds and thousands of followers, and they change over to Substack. So and they have I had no one. So it's it's very early stages. But I like the feel of it. I just don't know whether or not they want it as a networking thing where you're looking for other people on Substack. But I've found a few because I want to see what they do. So I changed what my main page looks like because somebody else, I went, oh, I want mine to look like that. How do I do that? And then I kind of explored a bit and found that you can sort of pin your posts so that it's the photo that I always use photos, but the photo that you use and the title, so it stacks them on top of each other, which I like.
Okay, pretty cool. I thought it was interesting. I'd never heard of it until I think I saw Christie's.
Okay.
Christie has one, and I had never heard of it before, so I'm always interested in what other people are using.
I think it has a lot of potential. I think that just when I think about technology and I think about how far the internet's come since the early days of it, I feel like no matter what we do today, it's going to be so transformed in 5 years from now and 10 years from now.
Just even a year from now, it'll be different.
Even just a year from now. So everything always feels foundational to me.
Yeah.
That whatever skill you learn, wherever you go, it will always evolve.
Yeah.
Things are constantly evolving. So it doesn't hurt to learn a thing. But I'm pretty determined that I don't want to spend time on something that is going to be so onerous that it makes it
obsolete.
It makes my brain hurt. If it makes my brain hurt, I don't. There's enough easy things out there that if it's too difficult, I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah,
I think with Substack too, there is the potential for a group of writers to get together and start their own publication and have paid
was my
subscriptions
question.
for that. Yeah. And that was something that I was interested in. And I actually thought of you, Susan, because I thought that's something, because you and Christy, I know, were talking about that together, and I've sort of read a little bit of what you were talking about. I subscribe to Christy as well. So, and I was thinking that Substack, in that sense, in the potential of that you're able to work together, you don't have to be in the same place.
I see the light. All of a sudden, the light bulb just went on.
Yeah.
Yes, because as a group, yes. So I don't know if you're aware, if you're aware, but so since I've been on Medium for quite some time, there were some publications that back in the early days they started up and they were wildly popular and they built a huge audience, and then they basically left Medium.
Yeah.
Just because they had such a huge following and they could leave Medium and then go monetize because they weren't getting that from Medium. So there are people who are doing that kind of thing. And so now that you mentioned that, I think I'll go explore that, because if it's possible for us as a group to take what we do and move it to Substack and monetize, and to the benefit of the writers as a collective,
exactly,
which is better than what we're doing now, which how could it not be?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be better. It's just something else. So it's another way
just
to get
better. I'm saying better in terms of the monetization. I think there's no writer on the planet who doesn't want to be paid better, because the truth is, right now, the way the writing market is, people are writing content and really being underpaid, like so many other 1099 workers, like so many other independent freelancers. We're all, the people that are benefiting from the hours and hours that we spend developing content and doing what we do, they're, that's not that we're getting the dribbles at the end.
Definitely. And that's why I was thinking, when I read this, because I mean, I read the emails that they send because I know they're new and I know they're developing things all the time, because it's only been in the last month that I got an email saying from Substack saying, we have now made this capability that we can work, that you can have a group of people and have this and turn the paid subscription on. And then that if people really want to read what you want, they'll commit to that, and if you're a group and you've developed a base, that they'll follow you there and they'll pay that, and then you're not getting 15 cents for the poem that you've written. It's like, which can be a little bit demoralizing.
Yeah, I will investigate that. Thank you for continuing to kind of poke at that, because I wasn't sure where that was going. But I'll investigate.
I can even send you like what they sent me, because I keep that stuff, so to remember.
Okay, so should we wrap it up?
Okay, well, Lisa, I'm going to reach out to you. I want to have, and Susan, we got to have you on my podcast so we can speak.
That would be fun. And
pin us to the top so we can
find.
Because our next is tomorrow morning, right?
Not tomorrow, but Sunday.
Oh, you can do
Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's always in the kind of like way too early for me, or in the middle of the night. This is the only time I can do. So I appreciate that you've got a morning one for you guys, that it's evening for me.
I'm glad you could do this.
If it's like trying to think, like you're 9 hours ahead of us?
It depends where you are.
I'm in Arizona, so I'm 3 hours behind Susan.
Okay, so I am 7 hours in front of Susan. So
dinner time.
Yeah. And I have to say that I've had a glitch with Medium, and it was driving me nuts, and I reached out to them. I had a Google Hangout with 3 engineers, not just one, 3 engineers from Medium, and they were pretty cool, and they helped me. And there's I think some extensions that can play a little bit of funny buggers with the Medium platform, but I'd never had any issues before, and I've always had these extensions, so I don't know why they're just popping up now. But I was really impressed. They were with me for just over half an hour, trying to troubleshoot everything. And I was like, well, I'm going to spread the word that you're not artificial intelligence because everyone thinks that it's just an and they were like, what?
Yeah, wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, so I was fairly impressed that they had 3 of them. So.
That's good to know. I saw that you had posted about that. I thought that was brilliant. And I know everybody jokes about the AIs because it's fun to joke about.
It is. And it's more the curation, really. It's like, really? Are they real people? The engineers, yes, I guess. You know, someone's got to write the code. But yeah, and they were lovely. So that was pretty cool experience.
That's awesome.
And they helped me. I haven't had any issues. So yeah.
Yay. Good. Real people working at MuddyUm.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Like, as if they're going to get back to me, and then they did, and then they were like, can we hang out I was like, sure. It's like 9:00 at night for me, but that's fine.
But the big question is, were they good looking?
Oh God. We're back to that, are we?
Well, you know, they were all younger than me, so yeah. Isn't everyone younger than you're good looking? Like,
Susan, what you gotta do, ladies, what you gotta do. At the U of A, University of Arizona in Tucson here, they will take whole body donations. So for science. And I was talking to this woman, I think I was scheduling a mammogram, and this woman was hilarious. And I don't know how we talked about donating body parts and stuff, but she said that she was donating her entire body to science, to U of A, because it would be a great time to have a bunch of hot young doctors crawling all over her body. And I was like, where do I sign up?
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I signed up. So I'm going to have hot young doctors crawling all over my body. I'll be dead, but it's still my body, right?
Okay, yeah.
Thinking her spirit's going to like float above and get some kind of vicarious vicarious satisfaction out of it.
Yeah. So my husband had to go. He got his travel ID right before, everything shut down, or that part of life shut. We don't have everything shut down out here. And he said, I signed up to be an organ donor, and I'm like, my whole body's going.
I wanted to show you, because I've been talking about this.
Is this your bamboo toilet paper?
This is the box of bamboo toilet paper.
Woo!
Look, it comes in a box. It says, seedlings promise every 100 rolls purchased equals 1 tree planted.
That's fantastic.
And then it comes in this very fancy box. So, it's recycled cardboard. It's not plastic.
Yeah.
And then here it is.
You are so rich.
I'm serious. Like the bamboo fabric. I have bamboo sheets and bamboo.
Yeah. And it's very soft. Like it doesn't even like the sticky part where it sticks onto the roll. Like it's just, I don't know. It's really, really soft.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be just like, I'm flaunting my wealth here.
You totally are. Except I live in the land of there's never going to be bamboo toilet paper sold here because they have forests and they make toilet paper out of trees. And, they grow forests here sustainably and all of that. They manage their forests quite well in Finland. So, yeah.
Didn't you say that Finland is like the #1 producer of toilet paper in the world?
Oh, I don't know about that, but they upped their production recently by 25%. Look at you hugging your box of toilet paper. I used to, when I lived in Australia, I had Who Gives a Crap delivered every 3 months. And that was great. And I loved it. And that was bamboo. And then I moved here and I have to say that it's inferior toilet paper.
It's inferior. It is. Yeah. And the pricing isn't that much different. Yeah, it's way better.
It was cheaper, I think, for Who Gives a Crap. Like it ended up being cheaper.
Who Gives a Crap? The Who Gives a Crap guy, they did like a startup, like a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe, or something when they started that company. And he literally sat on a toilet for like days at a time, and they did like a live stream of him. And they said, I'm not going to get off the toilet until we raise this much money.
Well, that's spread all over the world now. Like I can get it delivered from London, but I live in a European tax-free zone. So like anything with the islands that I live in, so anything I get sent I have to pay customs on, so it's kind of no point.
Yeah, no point.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bamboo that grows
In
Europe.
Finland.
In Finland, especially
In
no.
Finland. They have forests and plenty of trees, so.
Yeah.
Okay, my question was, do they grow a specific tree for toilet paper?
I don't know. I have to ask someone here that. I've got friends who are in the forest industry here, so I might have to like.
That sounds like a Medium article.
It does, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that sounds good. I can.
Toilet paper from different. How'd they figure out which tree made the best toilet paper?
Exactly.
Oak, redwood.
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of pine, but anyway, they grow fast. Birch grow fast too. I've learnt they're good to burn because, coming from Australia, we didn't have those trees. We have completely different trees.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn, and we have all different plants and animals, and yeah, so it's been a learning curve.
The rest of the world doesn't know very much about Australia.
They really don't. I told someone the other day, it was people from here, they were interviewing me. They're doing an English course for part of their study as preschool teachers, and I was like, whoa, that's specific. But anyway, they had to ask me some questions, and they were like, so a lot of people say that they like it, having 4 seasons, and I was like, well, we have 4 seasons in the southern part of Australia. We get snow. And their faces, they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's like we have winter. Australia's big, half of it is fairly tropical, but the southern half, we get snow in 4 seasons. And they were like, one of them said, I know nothing about Australia. I was like,
no one teaches anything about Australia. It's like the forbidden continent. Like
the forgotten one.
Susan, but in America, my 7th grade history lesson was nothing but bullshit. Now that I know, and just even like talking, no, I don't know anything about Australia. And I was talking with Christy yesterday, who's in Calgary, and they have this 100-something-year-old rodeo that's been going on for so long, forever and ever. Haven't you ever heard of the Calgary Rodeo?
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm in such a little bubble. I'm a California girl. I'm in such a little bubble, and I'm living in Arizona in the wild, wild west right now. And yeah, we are in a definite bubble.
Yeah.
I think one of the best parts of the virus thing is that it's really causing people to connect around the globe in ways that they never did before, because now why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So these conversations, like Christy and I were talking yesterday, it'd be interesting to have somebody ask a question, but then get the answer from people, like one from me and then one from her, like about healthcare. Our America's Susan, what's your experience with it versus yours? And then Lisa, what's yours in the country you lived in?
Yeah.
We could have these very interesting answers to the very same question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's really that's a key thing in diplomacy, is just ask the question and then sit back and listen to all the answers.
Yeah.
Because, as a mother, as having just, as a mother, the truth of a thing is always the intersection of all the stories. So, right? So my son would come in with a bloody nose. And and then he has his version of the story. And there's 8 kids all playing on the playground, and they all come in and tell their version of the story. Every single one of those stories is slightly different.
Yeah.
And we can't tell the real truth of any story until we hear all the versions. And then we start to piece together what did it really actually look like based on all those versions of those stories. So yes.
What's interesting about that is that that's what's happening right now in the world with this virus. Every country, all of the people and it's people that don't normally, well, they probably do that. I think medical profession are pretty good at working together. From the people I know, they share research and that kind of thing. But this is, it's a particular thing. It's affecting everybody. Governments have reacted in different ways. Who's to say whether it's right or wrong? They're just trying to do the best like they can with the info they have. But, you know, then people are kind of going, oh, do we trust everything that comes from China? And we're not hearing anything from this and this country. Well, that's not surprising. And, you know, and then it is that intersectional thing of like, okay, well, this is how it behaved in Italy and this is what happened in Spain. I think that's why Finland's government has reacted how it is, where they just shut everything down. Whereas Sweden, you know, just 50 kilometres west of me, they've had a completely different response. They were the last people to close their borders in the Nordic region. And you know, yeah, so it's really interesting how different cultures have reacted to that, how they interpret all of that kind of information, all those stories that are coming out and all that information. So yeah.
And I think that I think what happens is you've got you've got kind of the official story, right? So you get the official story, you get the facts from the scientists, you get the stories from the politicians, and of course they always have an agenda. Always, it doesn't matter. They always have an agenda. Then you have all the industry leaders. If you're having it's not like this technology is new, that this teleconferencing technology is new. I've been doing it for decades, really, literally.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it from a business standpoint where, you know, let's say we're on a business team together and we all work for IBM or we all work for whatever company, you just pick a company name, doesn't matter what the company name is. We all have this company culture and we all have this personal agenda. And we all have this company agenda in the construct of that meeting. What's different is that if you strip away the personal agendas and the personal, the personal motivations for why are you here, and then all of a sudden you just use the technology to put the common people together. There's a whole lot more just common people, just people living their lives than there are politicians and corporate leaders and And so when you share those stories, it's a wholly different perspective, isn't it? Because now you don't come into it with this, well, I have this agenda that I have to promote, or I have to get my way to get funding, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those things get stripped away, and now all of a sudden you have this sharing that happens at a whole different, deeper level.
And I love that stuff that you posted. I think pretty sure it was you, Susan. It was certainly in that group of you know, the actors who were trying to like tell everyone that like I'm stuck in my huge mansion, and really you just want to look at the person who's living in a shoebox with his 5 mates, or, you know, the family at home who have 6 kids and the woman's going nuts. You know, because they're real people. You don't, I mean, the actors, you're just part of you in this situation. You're just like, you have so much money, and okay, you're not getting paid now because you haven't got a film shoot, boo-hoo, but you got paid a few million on your last job. You know, it's like, yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and it's not surprising there's been a bit of backlash towards them, you know, trying to have this sort of message when everyone's like, we're all in the same boat, and I don't want to hear it from you. I like you in your movies, but I don't want to hear anything.
Seeing a little more good news. You know, my newscasts, they're all looking for something to show on TV. So they show all the kids' birthday parties that are now drive-bys, and they're going around. Have you guys seen John Krasnick? He's got that Good News Station something.
Yeah, I did. I saw that today, actually.
Yeah, on Facebook, go to the video things, and oh my God, is he funny or what?
He's so funny. I love it because he introduced himself. He said, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
Yeah. I'm completely alone in this room, but he's talking to the camera. Yeah, it was. So you're seeing a lot of really neat creative stuff, you know.
The song parodies, people dressing up, you know, people
Susan, I love your idea of doing the lip sync thing. I want to find Monty Python and some coconuts.
I think, you know, I had to go out yesterday to pick up some groceries, and I was driving around, and then I came home and I thought, do I really think people are actually going to do a lip sync thing? I mean, it's kind of a lot of work. And I was thinking about, okay, what I'm trying to pick a song because I want to do one. Like if I ask somebody to do something, then as the leader, I kind of have to do it myself because I don't subscribe to that leadership philosophy of like, well, you just do it because I told you to do it. Like I need to do one.
Yeah.
and then I'm like, well, it's kind of a lot of work. I mean, it really is a lot of work. But then I thought, but
there are
what?
programs.
But what if we did something like we all kind of as a group picked a song? So for instance, you saw that one that I embedded that was like the one day, and it was like people, they literally had each person in that video, they had clips, right? So one person did one little bit of that song, and then another person did another little bit, and then and then somebody just pieced that all together. And that's really not that hard to do anymore. Like I've seen it done, and I know people who do it, and I haven't done it yet, but I know that it's not all that difficult. And and I thought, wow, well, we could do something like that. We could do like the MuddyUm crew does a song, like we pick a song and everybody does like one little bit of it, and then we piece it together.
Let's do Moulin Rouge with Pink and Christina and I'll
Lady
do
Marmalade.
I want to be Little Kim, and I want to do the rap part.
I mean, I'm down for putting something together. I mean, we have the time, right?
Yeah, totally.
Pretty much.
We have to like round everybody up, and like somebody has to organize it. We'll have to like, oh, you do this part. We picked this song for you, like.
Yeah, we could do it.
We could do it, right?
Yeah.
It could be fun, because if you only do a segment of it, it's a lot easier than doing the whole song.
It is a whole song, yeah. And it's also probably more interesting for people watching, because I mean, I wouldn't want to see, to be quite honest, I'm happy with like 1 minute of someone doing a lip sync, but I don't want to see like a 4.5 minute.
Yeah.
It better be like, Ricky Martin or something. It can't be just anybody doing a lip sync, right?
Right. And if I'm doing like 30 seconds of a thing, like I can go all out for that 30 seconds with makeup and costume and whatever, but I know it's just that 30 seconds and then I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could wear my dress. Let's do it.
I wish I lived closer to my daughter. She does this. She's like a drag queen, and this is her bread and butter. She does.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe she'd contribute. Maybe she'd contribute like a piece.
She probably could. Definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Would. She's
amazing. I'm sure I can get somebody to help us with the piecing together of the segments.
Yeah.
And imagine that where it's like, okay, here's like the MuddyUm post, like we just like everybody gets this finished version of it, and it's like just there it is, like everybody posted on an article, and like actually, look what we did.
I wonder if she could do it, because she does video editing. So yeah, I'll
what app they're using to do it. There's an app for it.
Yeah. There are apps, but she does like professional video stuff. So I'll hear her out what she thinks, whether she would know the apps too, because she's
that'd be fun. Okay, Susan, pick a song.
Okay. Oh, do I have to pick a song?
I think that would be funny.
What's the name of that song?
Is it the Lady Marmalade?
Lady Marmalade from Moulin Rouge. So it's Pink.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Yeah.
That one? Voulez-vous coucher? Yeah.
Christina Aguilera at the end is phenomenal.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And I'm going to go look at it and see if I think it's possible. Let's look at it and see what we think. All right, ladies, thank you for today.
Thank you.
We'll see you around.
Stay safe, stay inside, stay all that stuff.
Yeah. Clean your ears.
Have a good day, and I'll have a good sleep.
Yeah, I hope you're having
have a good sleep. Feel better.
Yeah. Oh, I feel better already. It's good having a laugh.
Oh,
just this side of my face. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.